Good morning, all the Cuddlist fans out there and those interested in this work and curious about all the topics that we talk about here on Friday mornings. So welcome to your Cuddlist Talk session. I'm Janet Trevino. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and right now I'm in the doctor's office. I'm getting some blood work done. So the great thing about this live video is it travels with me. I can take it anywhere I want. So while I'm here waiting in the waiting room, I thought I'd talk to you about this interesting question that one of our viewers asked. They actually asked last week. So how do you handle this whole thing about, well, what if I have feelings for my cuddlist, or what happens between the dynamic of a client and a cuddlist in that relationship? So I love to explain it to you. So first thing I think is important is that it happens, it can happen, and it's based, I think, my science tells us, and this is kind of in my experience, it's based on some chemicals that are present in a cuddling session. So anytime there's touch between two individuals, bonds are created. A hormone is released called oxytocin, which is a very powerful hormone, and so in that moment you feel all these amazing feelings, and it's easy to connect with the person that you're with in which you experience these feelings. So it can happen, and it doesn't happen every time, but that's definitely a possibility. So then the question is, how do we deal with it? The first thing I do, if I just can tell it's like a surfacey kind of, there's like a connection, this thing that's happening, what I try to do is first help them figure and see how they're really trying to connect with themselves and turn it back on them. So I say it's not a big deal. Like, what you're really experiencing is a deeper connection with yourself, and hopefully they can see that I'm a mirror of them. So when they think amazing things about me, I tell them it's not really truly me, it's what you see is yourself. And that's my hope, is that you fall deeper in love with yourself, and you get to get excited about who you are and begin to see how amazing and powerful you are as a human being. So that's the first thing, is I try to definitely reflect back their experience on themselves and help them go deeper within. Now, there's one amazing story, and I'm still kind of working through how to respond to it. I had one client. We came for 2 hours, and we had an amazing session. Like, it was deep, profound, healing, stories of being in the war, going to battle, losing, partners in battle, and the depth of that. And he came once, and there was some email correspondence, and never came back. So a couple weeks ago, I just sent him an email saying, hey, thinking of you, I hope you're well, hope that life is going well. And I got a really long email back, and it was an email that it's taken me a couple weeks to read through. As soon as I start reading it, I just start crying. It was really intense, because the story goes is that, so he came to a session with me, and like his whole world opened up, and he was able to see things and experience things he hadn't in a really, really, really long time. And especially with our military and the way in which that military culture works, there is a disconnect with themselves and like their true nature and the work that they do. So in these 2 hours we had, it revealed the beauty of life. It revealed the depth and the power and the love that he'd been missing. So then when he left, and then this email, he starts to explain why he can't come back and see me. And that's because he left, and there was an even deeper loneliness, an even deeper hole, and he'd rather not even know that love and that connection can exist in the world, because the leaving part was really hard for him. So as I've been talking to my colleagues about this and like reaching out and trying to figure out, like, how do I handle someone who has such an intense experience with the Cuddlist, what do I say? And they, of course, there's people that have different professions and they have different expertise, and they were able to remind me that for some people, coming to a Cuddlist is still too premature, that they need to do their own work around touch and cuddling, and they need to do, around their own work around their own like therapy, talking and working slowly into the process. So it is difficult. Not everyone can do this kind of work, or can come to receive this kind of service. Not until they're in a certain place where they can have better resources for themselves. So, of course, you know yourself best. You know if you go to a session and you start having feelings, you know what works for you. You know if that's something that's going to work or not. One of the things that the question I would ask is, what is your intention? Like, what do you hope to gain? And if you recognize, like, no, I really want more, I really want a deeper connection with someone, then it may be that what you really need is a relationship. Like, you're ready to jump into something that's a little more holistic, a whole human experience thing. And if you find that you're like, well, but I'm not really ready for that, so then just get your intention really clear, like what you're here to learn with a Cuddlist. Maybe you're here to practice your communication. Maybe you're here to experience touch and again in a non-sexual or platonic way. Maybe you're here to learn more about yourself and to be able to be sensitive with another person and hold space and to be able to be yourself and ask in for what you want. So it all depends on kind of what you're looking for. If you're sensing again that you're falling for your Cuddlist, again, it might be time to, like, you're graduated and transition to something a little more heartfelt. And I guess the last thing, there's one more story I'm remembering that I wanted to share, is there was a client that came to me and after a few sessions said, again, he didn't really know protocol and didn't know kind of what I was able to do or not, and he invited me and said, would you like to pursue things more? Like, could we have a relationship? Like, could we do other things? Like an actual, like, emotional and romantic connection. And I thought it was fantastic that he could ask. I mean, that shows a lot of trust in me and comfortability with that. And I said no. I said no. That wasn't what I was here for. That wasn't the relationship that we had agreed upon. And he's like, okay. And I respected that, and he's still a client. He still comes back, and he's clear on what he's doing in our sessions, and we have a deep connection, and then he leaves, and there's no communication until our next session. Now, there are some clients who ask, like, could we go out to dinner? Can we, go and do things together outside of usually the places that our sessions are held? And I say I'm willing to do that, and as always, as if it was a real session, I have a fee. So I've coined the term cuddle dates. I'm welcome, available, and I'm sure other cuddlists as well would welcome going to movies or going to have a meal, and our fee is still the same. It's still $80 an hour. So you can have the experience of touch in the real world and not always in a home or in a space with walls. You can have a Cuddlist and receive and ask for what you want and receive touch in this way in any space, as long as both of you agree. So that's pretty much it. Do people, as a summary, do people fall for a Cuddlist? Sure. That is something that does happen. Is it a big deal for me? Not at all. I hold my boundaries. I know what I'm doing. I know the service I provide, and I'm really clear what this is. And is it a good indication of what that person may be needing? Possibly. So having a conversation around what their true intention in our services, or what they're desiring is super important. And take it one client at a time. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope this was valuable to you, just to get you an insider view into the practice, the experience in which I live in. If you're looking for a Cuddlist, please go to Cuddlist.com. We have Cuddlists all over the country. If you're interested in becoming a Cuddlist, please also go to Cuddlist.com. The training is there. Talk to one of us. You're welcome to message me, and I'm Janet Trevino. You're welcome message me and ask me questions, and I'd love to be able to share about what this is all about. All right, take care. Love you all.